Okay, so number 10, we have another write a word problem, solve the word problem, put the answer of the equation into the context using the word problem that we wrote. And so similar to problem number 9, all of these terms in this equation here, the 8x, the 3x, the 12, and the 54, all of those pieces have to have the same meaning. So let me write that down. 8x, 3x, technically that's a minus 12, and 54 all must be describing the same thing. Whether that is apples, donuts, money, hours, what have you, must be describing the same thing. And then we also have to look at not only do those terms need to be describing the same thing, but this x here and this x here have to be describing the exact same thing. So both x's must mean the exact same thing. All right, so I need to decide on what I want my terms to mean, and I need to decide what I want my x's to mean there. Okay, I think I'm going to have my terms mean number of hours this time, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. It's different than the last problem where we were talking about money, money, money. So I'm going to have this one mean hours. So it's 8 times x hours. Three times x will be a number of hours. Negative 12 will mean hours, and we'll talk about how that can be a negative here in just a minute. And then 54 would also need to mean hours. And 54 is our total hours, because that's what comes after the equal sign. All right, so in the 8x, I have to decide whether it's the 8 that's the hours or the x that's the hours, because it's going to be a for each situation, where the x is what we multiply by. So 8 is being added more than once over and over. 3 is going to be added more than once. It's going to be added the same number of times that the 8 is. I think I'm going to let the 8 and the 3 be the hours here. And so then I need to come up with some other meaning for the x. Okay, so here's my idea. I'm going to have somebody who is making baked goods, like cakes and cookies. Cakes and cookies are good. And they are going to make the same number of cakes and batches of cookies. So x is going to mean number of cakes and batches of cookies. And those are going to be the same. So I'm going to have to explain that in my story. I'm actually going to move this up here, kind of out of the way. Oh, where could I put that? There, I'll pop it over there on the right. Just so that somewhere I've got what my x is meaning, but I want it out of the way of where I'm going to write my story. Okay, so here goes my story. So, Kristen, owner of Kristen Bakes, has agreed to donate cakes and cookies for her daughter's school bake sale. she is going to donate the same number of cakes as batches of cookies. And that's a really important sentence right there, because right there in that sentence, I'm establishing that X means both the number of cakes and the batches of cookies, because she's going to do the same number of each. So now I have my X meaning the same thing in both spots there. Okay, so then I have 8X and 3X. So it takes her, 8 hours. Remember, we said that we wanted our terms to mean hours. It takes her 8 hours to make, assemble, and decorate each cake. And it takes her 3 hours to bake and decorate a batch of cookies. Okay, so the really important things that I've established so far with the story as I've written it. We've got that X means the same thing in 2 different spots. The number of cakes is the same as the batches of cookies. We have the 8X, 8 hours for each cake. And we have the 3X, 3 hours for each batch of cookies. Now I need to get that minus 12 taken care of. So something is going to take away 12 hours of work from her. So since she's doing this for her daughter's school bake sale, let's say that her daughter, for her contribution, is going to help with 12 hours worth of work here. So that's going to take 12 hours off of Kristen's plate. So that's that minus 12 there. So her daughter will help with 12 hours of the work. In total, it takes Kristen or it will take, I guess, if I'm going to keep the tense right here. It will, in total, it will take Kristen 54 hours. So now what's our question? Think about what our question is here. What does the X mean? Number of cakes, number of batches of cookies. So we need to be answering a how many or how much since we're after a number. How many cakes and batches of cookies is she donating? All right. That's a very long story. I wanted to do something that wasn't just money, though. I feel like so many times we do these money problems. And there's nothing wrong with writing a money story problem. And if you want to do both of yours about money, that is totally and completely fine. Do not write the same stories that I'm writing in these videos. You need to make up your own, but you can use these as a guide to help you figure out how to write a good story for whatever kind of equation you have. All right, let's come in and solve this now. This is the easy part. We're going to combine our 8x and our 3x together. So 11x minus 12 equals 54. And then I'm going to add 12 to both sides. If I think about that in the context of the problem, that would mean if Kristen had to do this all by herself, if her daughter wasn't volunteering any time at all, this would be how much time it would take her all alone. So if Kristen had to do this all alone, it's going to take her 66 hours. But her daughter is contributing 12 hours worth of help so that it doesn't take her that long. And then we divide both sides by 11, and we get that x is 6. And now we need to take that, and we need to interpret that answer in the context of the word problem. We said that x was the number of cakes, number of batches of cookies, and so when I come down here to interpret this in context, we're going to say Kristen is going to donate six cakes and 6 batches of cookies. Because she's contributing both, and she's contributing the same number of both. So since our answer is 6, that means she's got 6 cakes and 6 batches of cookies to donate.